Very good afternoon from the Perth Hockey Stadium, where the sun is shining and it is a beautiful day for a game of hockey. And we're going to see a real belter of a game today as Melville, who currently sits second on the Men's Premier League table, taking on Wasps, who are 5th place. So Wasps will really want to get a victory today to try and climb up amongst the leaders on the league ladder, but they're going to come up against a very strong team in Melville. Melville have already had a victory in the women's match, which has stopped Wasps' unbeaten run in the women's competition. So it'll be very important that Wesley South Perth Hockey Club, known as Wasps, can get a victory today to keep their season and the hopes of playing in the finals alive. Of course, still a long way to go. This is only the 8th match of the season for both these teams. Well, players to look out for in this game. You'd have to say, when you look at the Wasps lineup, that key players for them are going to be from the penalty corners, I believe. I think Duncan Pearce today may be in for a big game. And also, if we look out for Lachlan Sampson, he will also be important. Defensively, Cale Walsh and Kyle Brown. But in the midfield, it is again going to be Bryn de Bez, who will want to step up against his former club, having played all of his juniors with Melville. Turn our attention to the Melville team, and Nicholas McCorn in goal is going to be up for a real test, because obviously Tristan Clemens has announced his retirement and is moving to the USA. So McCorn comes in and will have to really step up and show what he's made of. But other players that I think are going to be key players for them today are their captain, without a shadow of a doubt. Tim Gears is one of those. Patrick Welsh will be another one that will be looking to try and excel, and that is number 5. But also the 17-year-old Justin Shonken is another one wearing number 14. Exciting player, he scores goals, and he's going to be one to look at. Already has 5 penalty corners this season for Melville, so look out for him. If we turn our attention to the coaches, well, Kyle Brown is the player coach for Wasps. He's assisted by Jamie Walsh, who will be on the side. Jamie Walsh, who snapped his Achilles last year and is out for the season playing, and so that is why he will be assisting there. And Craig Wilson is the coach of Melville. He took over and was appointed, in fact, in 2018. He'd been assistant coach of the Thundersticks back in 2013 and led Vic Park to victory in the 2012 Premier League Grand Final. So plenty of experience for Craig Wilson, and he'll be looking to continue the winning ways for Melville today. Our umpires for this match, Chahir Panshiri and Jeremy Edwards. Yes, Jeremy Edwards, the Kookaburra, is going to be also helping out down below. I'm Ashley Morrison, looking forward to bringing you all of the action this afternoon. It is a wonderful day here at Curtin University. I should just mention that there are a few of the high-performance players playing. Lachlan Sharp is playing for Melville, along with Tim Brand. Both of those are in the Kookaburra squad. And then for Wesley, or Wasps, is Matthew Swan, having just returned from his honeymoon in Bali. And Trent Mitten also lining up. Matthew Swan, of course, another former Melville player. Had over 10 years with Melville before he moved to Wasps. And that was all because of the draft that he was forced to leave in 2016. So it will be Wasps to get this match underway. And as we wait for the start, just like to thank our sponsors that make the live stream possible: FMG, AUSDRILL, dankz Furniture, Tiger Turf, Kookaburra, and SPORTSLINK International. So we're ready to get underway. The music has stopped. The whistle goes and Trent Mitten doesn't pass back. He does eventually. The ball comes back. Mitten picks up again. And immediately looking to go on the attack, but stolen well by Matthew Willis, former Kookaburra, managing to feed the ball into the path of Tim Brand, who is the new generation coming through. Just get the feeling that this is going to be some game, and just letting that run at the back was almost a really costly mistake for Wasps early on in the match. Just drifting in behind the defence from out wide. Heavy touch, and it's stolen by Lachlan Sharp. Lachlan Sharp, really exciting player. Long corner. Joe Robinson right inside the circle. He's just checking behind him now to make sure that Sam Gears, who looks to deflect that inside the deep, wasn't lurking behind him. And it's another long corner. Melville certainly starting with a really high tempo. Saw the women do exactly the same, and they were rewarded with a goal in the 6th minute. Pressure being put on by Justin McDougall. Trent Mitten, lovely collection and turn and acceleration from him. His pass was just a little bit too soft, and Lachlan Sharp read it well. And here come Melville once more, looking up, plays it into the D. That's a superb deflection. Ricochets up, and the shot coming in. Well, that was opportunism at its best, and a wonderful strike coming from Tim Gears. What a deflection that was inside the D. So the warning signs already there for Wasps that they're going to have to really be on their mettle against a very lively Melville side today. Kept in play well by Murray McIntyre. Melville managed to clear it upfield. Ball goes over the side. Wanted the ball quickly, but not given to him was Mr. McDougall. Lachlan Sharp again. We're seeing 2 balls being given. We saw this in the last game. A little bit frustrating, and that's a strong challenge and may well result in a card, but no, not going to be given as yet. Bryn de Bez was the man who went in a little bit overzealous. Free hit again to Melville, just outside the D. The ball played back to Wesley Stewart. And that was deflected well. Now, Mitten's got a bit of space, and if he can lay off the pass or wait it, in fact, he's going to go himself. Trent Mitten into the D he goes. Just going to check back, goes to push it. No, he's just held it up. Now he pushes it into the foot. That's a penalty corner. Well, Trent Mitten did really well there. Just held up play, and then into the D it went. And it caught the foot of Alex Wen. So the first penalty corner of the match going the way of Wasps. Can they make it count? So making his way to the baseline is Miles Cale to inject. Trent Mitten waits at the top of the circle. Alongside him, Duncan Pearce. And I would think Pearce would be the preferred option, with Mitten having just made that bursting run. It is indeed to Pearce they go, and what a save that was. Brilliant. Nicholas McCorn with a really good save off his kicker. But still defending to be done. It's caught the foot again. It'll be another penalty corner, this time just ricocheting off the foot of Matt Willis. But McCorn with a brilliant save. So will they go with Pearce again? So Kale Miles again makes his way down to the baseline. Made his way forward is Brandon Gibbs as well. So Gibbs is now at the second battery. Pearce and Mitten at the first. Pearce has withdrawn. Comes to Gibbs. Obviously a variation, and a goal has been awarded. Went with the hit. It was deflected up over the keeper. And it is, in fact, Wesley who take the lead. Just the question was the deflection off a Wesley player? It may well have been off the injector. So Wesley take the lead. Just not sure whether it was, I'm sure it was the deflection because it didn't hit the backboard, but it's just whether it was off the defender or whether it actually came up off Cale Miles, who was the injector, or Miles Cale rather. Carl Brown, not happy the decision went against him. Into the D it goes. Brown picks it up and just clears the danger all the way down the length of the pitch, and the debate continues with the umpire. Now Wesley quite happy to just stay in a half-court press rather than put pressure on Melville. Melville started like a bull at a gate in those first 5 minutes, but find themselves trailing now. Just as we saw in the women's match, the goal coming in the 6th minute from a penalty corner. Hopefully, though, it's not going to be the only goal of the game as it was in that match. Good collection in the midfield. And good turn as well. And we've got Melville City with a number 8. And there's no number 8 on our team sheet, so we'll try and establish who that is. Misdirected pass, so it'll be Melville ball defensively. Ryan Hyder is the number 8. Another sharp save and a long corner. Of course, these two met in the grand final in 2016, and it was controversial because Tristan Clemens, the goalkeeper for Melville, had his wedding that day, and Wasps were victorious. Certainly, captain of Melville, Tim Gears, has said since then there will be no weddings on grand final day. Carl Brown, under a bit of pressure, manages to avoid that. Comes out to Robinson, and the line he goes. Walsh, no, couldn't keep it in play. So straight into the action now, Matthew Tate. Ross Hall helping it forward. That was a really good run and collect from Tim Brand. And then Robinson impeding his path towards the circle. Ross Hall. His pass is intercepted. And now a chance for Brynn Bez as he throws the overhead. Picked out by Trent Mitten again. Brilliant play by him, just turning the defender. Mitten still going into the D, still with Mitten. And that's a really telling tackle when it mattered from Patrick Welsh. Swan, though, trying to stop Melville coming out. And he's committed the foul. So Melville get to breathe, but Trent Mitten really looking like he means business tonight. Trent Mitten has 2 goals to his name at the moment in the season for Wasps. Puts him amongst the leading scorers, in fact. There are 4 players rather, on 2 goals, and Murray McIntyre, the veteran, on 3. Getting his body in front was Brynn Bez. Matthew Swan collects and plays it out to Joel Mitten. A little bit of space now to cut infield for Brandon Gibbs. His pass though misdirected, so too was that one. No chance for Ryan Hyder to keep that in play. Joel Mitten, shaped to go infield and then went up the side. Mitten again, calls galore from inside, and good run from Rainey. That's a very good interception though, and dribbling his way out of trouble. In fact, dribbling his way forward superbly was Frank Reynolds. Swan though has possession now for Wasps. Pass is under hit. Swan though determined to get it back, brings it down. Matthew Swan into the D goes, penalty corner. Well, Swan really determined. So a third penalty corner to Wasps, and we're in just the 12th minute of the match. So is there a chance now for them to stretch that lead? Nick McCorn, the Australian senior high school student, is the man who's going to have to stand between them. He was there previously. Played for Guildford as well. So once again, we see Miles Cale injecting from the baseline. Pearce and Gibbs wait. Pearce at the first battery, Gibbs at the second. This time they go to Pearce. Pearce sweeps into the first runner, and that was high, and it was painful. And not surprisingly, Frank Reynolds is struggling a little bit and making his way straight to the side as Melville go on the attack. Well, the clearance from Joel Mitten was played straight to Tim Gears. Swan, though, has intercepted that pass as it was intended for Patrick Welsh. But then he gives possession away and looks skywards. Melville really looking to counter-attack quickly when they get the ball. Good steal again, coming this time from Kyle Brown. Deflects out of play off the stick of Wesley Stewart. So Melville. And there's space on the left-hand side for Wesley Stewart. And he's penalised. He's not happy with the decision, understandably so. Gibbs. Couldn't get along the baseline. Swan looking to find Gibbs again, but it's behind him, and Tate picks up for Melville, and Swan somehow wins it back. Strong possession from Paul Robertson. Robertson, though, having to go back to Gibbs. Rainey loses out. Good interplay in the midfield from Melville. Good covering play in the end from Kyle Brown, stopping the final pass, finding its man. Intercepted again by Tim Gears. And Swan and Rainey just getting in each other's way. Fair to say, both teams at the moment very keen to counter-attack at speed. Infield it comes to Welsh. Has to go back into the defensive line. That's good play by Lachlan Sharp. And in the end, it was actually very good play by Duncan Pearce coming across as Sharp's pass had just been pushed gently towards the circle. Pearce had to just accelerate to get on the end of it, and that caught the foot. Thought he'd got away with it, but the eagle-eyed umpire, Jahir Panshiri, blowing on his whistle. So Sampson had to come back. Kyle Potter, and he's misdirected his pass back to Matthew Tate, so it'll be Wasps ball from the side. Looking to play on quickly is Sampson. Looking to feed it down the line to Swan, but good defensive play coming from Melville. And again, a really strong tackle coming in from Patrick Welsh. So it was Welsh who originally broke up that fast counter-attack, and then a good tackle. Gibbs, good pass from him, picking out Brindabez, and Rainey using his feet. Almost at the halfway point of the first half. Aerial pass thrown. And the free hit won by Tim Brand. Tim Brand thwarted by Cale Walsh. Trent Mitten goes into a strong challenge, and Wesley Stewart got the ball but pushed it over the side. Well, there's not a lot on for Cale Walsh at the moment, and he was a little bit baffled, but in the end, very well directed aerial pass, picking out Matthew Swan, but he was dispossessed by Walsh, who seems to be, or rather Welsh, who seems to be everywhere. Good intercept again, and no surprise, Patrick Welsh is back there again, cleaning up once more. Patrick Welsh, who went to Melville Senior High, so very much a local boy. Also, his grandfather was one of the original members of Melville Hockey Club back in 1956 when the club was formed as an under-16s club. And believe it or not, they went throughout the season and just lost one game, and that was in the finals. And now it's become a real force in WA hockey. Although I should say that it started then as Applecross Hockey Club. They were formed in 1956, and by 1963 they'd grown to 7 teams, so just shows how the sport was buzzing at that time. A little bit of space now on the left for Wesley Stewart. He's back infield, Alex Wen. And Wasps just shifting across the pitch well at the moment in their defensive zones. Wen goes more direct this time. Mitten stole it, but brilliant play by Lachlan Sharp. He was so quick to pounce on Mitten, stole possession back, and now there's a chance for Stewart. Stewart looks for a foot. That looked as if it caught Matthew Swan's foot. No whistle. Surprise, surprise, and I'm benched down below us. A little bit frustrated, although probably the telling thing was that Stewart didn't go up for it, so maybe it came off the stick and Swan's little dance was actually him avoiding getting his foot on the ball as Swan comes up with the ball now for Wasps. Brindabez helps it forward into the middle of the field. Sampson has to just double back. A little bit of space for Pearce, plays it out onto the left-hand side. Rainey helps it forward. Brindabez, who started the move, is going to have to struggle to keep that in play. Did well. And just played it into the turf, and it goes out for a long corner. Off the pads of Nick McCorn. Possession won by Melville. And it's collected well now. The chance for Tim Brand. He's got good run ahead of him, but he probably played that pass a little bit too early into the path of Matt Willis, because Gibbs was directly between Willis and Brand. Rainey. Mitten slips, but somehow still manages to gain possession. Accelerates forwards, cuts around Wen, and Wen will be penalised for obstruction. Not sure there was a great deal he could do as Mitten changed direction so sharply. Alex Wen had nowhere to go. Good run coming from Joel Mitten this time, but wasn't able to gather the ball. So in the final 15 minutes of the first half, Melville leading by 1-0. Deflected from a Brandon Gibbs penalty corner. Try and find out at half-time who the deflection or who the goal's been awarded to. There's no announcement over the tannoy. Mitten again, just pulling away from his marker, Ross Hall. Hall following him into the deep, and the ball just going off his stick for another long corner to Wasps. And again, we're going to get balls from both sides of the pitch. Rainey, back to Walsh. Robinson now. And that's just going to run through. Well, that was claimed that went a little bit high off the stick of Murray McIntyre into the Melville defender. No complaints from anybody, but from the angle we are, didn't look that high. Brown. Robinson. Well, that was bold. He just pushed that past the left foot of Tim Brand. Okay, he's got a stick in his right-hand position, but even so. Brand, good deflection down the side, but well read in the end by Tim Gears. Gears carrying forward. Ooh, he's just pushed it too far and out of play. Mitten got possession when he probably shouldn't have, and it was almost a very good pass into the path of Murray McIntyre, but just a little bit too far ahead of McIntyre. Maybe 15 years ago, he might have had the acceleration to get on the end of that. McIntyre now in his 40s. Kyle Brown again, brilliant tackle by him. Miles Cale though, just losing his bearings for a second. Was confidence at the back from Melville. Willis again doing good work, just sitting in that hole in front of the defence. And here come Melville on the attack. There's plenty of yellow shirts at the back. It's gone out of play. A long corner has been won. Calling for the ball quickly was Matt Willis. Again, we've seen two balls on the pitch. Willis wanted to get on with things quickly. Well, that'll be another long corner. Willis just moving about 2 metres along the 22, closer to the goal. Ross Hall comes out wide now. Frank Reynolds, who likes to be known as Friendly Frank Reynolds. When you think boxers are trying to big themselves up as being mean and beastly, he's in the opposite direction. Probably sums up hockey players. What a decent bunch they are. Lachlan Sharp has got the free hit just outside the circle, just pulls it back. Needed to go the 5 metres. Strong challenge coming in from Robinson. And that looked as if it had almost just run over the side. So Joe Robinson over the ball. He did some coaching at Aquinas with James McPherson, and in 2016, Joe Robinson and James McPherson won the Ray House Hockey Cup, beating Trinity 3-0. So maybe there's a career for him when he gives up his playing, but he's only 23 at the moment, so there's plenty of years to come on that one. So Wen restarts, manages to pick out Shonken. Shonken gets a free hit, leaves the ball behind. Strong challenge. Sees Willis take a tumble. Umpire wanted the free hit to be a little bit further back. And Wesley defence looking very strong at the moment. Not many holes for Melville to exploit. Carried forward by Hall, slipped out to the left-hand side, and Welsh's passes, sadly, to no one in particular. Should just recognise the sponsors once more. FMG, the new force in iron ore. AUSDRILL bringing more to mining. And dankz Furniture, quality home furniture, proudly Western Australian. And of course, we've got SPORTSLINK International creating amazing sporting experiences, and Kookaburra, hockey's #1 partnership. Thank all these sponsors for making the live stream of these games possible. Willis, that's a good pass to Sharp, and Sharp's touch was a good one, and having to really hurry to clear that one was Walsh. Lachlan Sharp is such a live wire player. Played with Ryde Hunters Hill Hockey Club. His father was the coach there, and they won their first championship for 50 years. And that's been a real breeding ground of top players of late in New South Wales. In play well by Matthew Tate. Given away now, Kyle Brown to Swan. Swan had no options to the left, has to come to the right. Rainey, first touch wasn't the best, but he's done well now to cut infield. Slides it forward, great chance, good deflection, and the keeper's saved and away off the line. Well, you'd have to ask, how did Lewis Barrett not score? McCorn did well coming off his line. In it goes again. And certainly Nick McCorn has made 2 saves in this match that have kept Melville alive, as kept in play superbly by Justin Shonken. He's won his team another long corner. Would have preferred, I'm sure, a penalty corner. Shonken is one of these young players that I think has got a bright future, and I'm hearing a lot about him. Just 17 years of age. Born in Scotland, so probably has that fiery, competitive nature that the Scots are renowned for. He's played through the under-15s, under-16s and 18s in WA. Just over 5 minutes left in the first half. Can Melville find an equaliser before the half-time break? They've been pressing hard, but at the moment they're finding a very miserly Wasps defence, just as Carl Brown gives it away to Willis. That's a good pass from Willis, picking out in space Hyder. Hyder, though, closed down by his opposite number, which is Brandon Gibbs. And then his pass just goes harmlessly out of play. Brown again, looking up as he has the ball on the end of his stick. Rainey finds Swan. Swan, that was clever play, and he sees 2 Melville players colliding, almost like the Keystone Cops, just by that feint of hand. A rather sleight of hand, I think I meant to say. Swan over the ball net for Wasps. South passes. Robinson goes back to Pierce. Kyle Brand, good pass to Robinson. Deflected towards goal, it's gone in. I think Trent Mitten is the player who's going to claim the final touch. So it is 2-0 now to Wasps. And it was just a shift of the ball from the left-hand side across to the right. And then it was Robinson's ball right along the baseline. And it was Trent Mitten, I think, who got the final touch and will claim that goal. A 2-0 now to Wasps. Lachlan Sharp looking to close the gap before the half-time break. Tate comes out wide to Stewart. Stewart's first time born. A real tussle there going on between Brynda Bez and Lachlan Sharp. Sharp self-pass from the side. Sharp again looking to just pickpocket Brynda Bez. Forced to go backwards is Robertson. Swan desperate to get in there, so too Willis, but it comes off Willis and over the side for a Wasps ball. Missed by 2 and finally brought under control. I think that's a fair call. Kyle Potter appeared to me to have been fouled. Oh my dear. Just creeping underneath Tate, sticking out of play. Willis just pushing it forward. Swan, one hand on the stick, collects for Wasps. This time he draws the foul from Sam Gears. Melville players would know Matthew Swan's game very well, having had him at the club for so long. And DeBez plays it into the foot of Willis. Sharp again intercepts and releases Brand. It's a good pass. Brand cuts infield. Another good pass into space, managing to find Tim Gears, and into the D. It goes across the face of goal. No one was there. Sharp had just stayed a little bit deeper. He'd stopped his run, and that's why there was a shake of his head. He knew if he'd have kept going, he'd have been on the end of that one. I don't think you can blame him. He was looking for that deflection away, as it was so close to the baseline that defenders often deflect it towards the back of the D, or the sort of top of the circle. And Sharp was waiting to anticipate that. Rainey, as the ball is thrown high by Mitten, and doesn't agree with his Kookaburra teammate, the umpire Jeremy Edwards. They're two of them entering a short, sharp debate. Edwards coming out victorious, obviously, as the umpire, but Mitten not agreeing with the verdict. Rainey. Super pass to the top of the circle. Oh dear, just fluffed that when he needed to get a really good hit, Murray McIntyre. Normally so potent from that sort of area. And here's a chance though for Melville. Sitting inside the D in space is Sam Gears, if they can find him. Free hit just outside. Brand fires it in. Deflection away, Justin McDougall. He's going to get the free hit. So Tim Brand, again, self-passes. Coming out to close him down is Joe Robinson. Brand slips. And Wasps just belt it clear, and the hooter will sound. And that is the end of the first half. And it's been a very interesting match. Melville have certainly been looking to attack when the opportunities arisen, but they find themselves going in, trailing by 2-0. We'll find out who the first goal was scored by or credited to, but it was a Brandon Gibbs penalty corner deflected past Nick McCorn, and then Trent Mitten with the second goal means it's a scoreline that reads Wasps 2, Melville City Hockey Club 0 at half-time. It's one of those, they've put a jumper on, I'm a bit warm, but it's better than being cold. I don't know, I just get that. There's a bit of a breeze. I'm going to come in about 1 minute, I think. Yeah, and I'll just say, look, sorry viewers, our CPU's gone a bit crazy. Welcome back to the Perth Hockey Stadium. The second half of the match between Wasps and Melville City about to get underway. Pleased to say we've been able to confirm the goal scorer from the penalty corner. It was, as I anticipated, it was in fact the injector who got the deflection. So Miles Cale has been credited with the first goal, and we can correct the fact that it wasn't Trent Mitten who got the final touch. He didn't get a touch, and it was Murray McIntyre whose shot after the run along the baseline from Joe Robinson was the initial deflection towards goal, and that was the one that went into the goal for the second goal. So Murray McIntyre with the second goal, not Trent Mitten, and Miles Cale, as we suspected, with the first goal from a penalty corner, just deflecting that. The other difference between the two teams at the moment, question is, can Melville come back in this match? Just talking to a few people in the crowd, and they believe that Melville can come back. And they think that Melville may, in fact, come over the top of Wasps in the second half. But we'll have to wait and see. Wasps already out there, and we're just looking at the moment for where the opposition are. And Melville cannot be seen at the moment. Well, maybe we should just start. We've seen that in international hockey where it's happened, and we've seen the girls running from the changing rooms down the tunnel onto the turf. I've also witnessed in India where the TV company prevented that happening because they didn't want the pit umpires to start without them giving the okay, and happened to be Germany playing, and Moritz Förster was absolutely livid, the then captain of Germany, and understandably so. So Melville emerge from the changing rooms, and I think the officials down below are ready for us to get underway. So Melville trailing by 2-0, currently sitting second on the table coming into the match today. Wasps were sitting 5th, so this will be a big win for them. Be a big blow for Melville. But there's still 35 minutes to go. Whistle goes, and the ball is played back to Willis, who throws the aerial pass. Rainey to McIntyre. McIntyre adding to his goal tally for the season. Now has 4 goals. Good defensive play coming across from Ross Hall. And Hall has been given a card. 2 minutes. Frustrating. 24-year-old from Como Secondary College. He's played in the Australian Hockey League for Northern Territory and for Western Australia. And that was just not controlled by Duncan Pearce. So looking at the records of the two teams coming into today's game, Melville played 7, won 5, drawn 1. Only lost 1 game so far this season, and that was when they lost to top of the table Fremantle, 2-1. And if we looked at Wasps, they'd played 7, won 4, lost 3. And they'd lost to Fremantle as well, 4-0. And they lost to Hale 2-0, and they lost to Westside Wolves 1-0. 3 losses on the bounce before they managed to get a win against Victoria Park. And since then, they haven't lost. Swan. It was a good pass to the top of the D. Bryn de Bez almost brought it under control. What a shot that is, and what a finish. Well, Nick McCorn was at full stretch trying to stop that one, but there was absolutely nothing he could do. De Bez's touch at the top of the D was a good one, but the finish in the end was absolutely superb as it was swept home by Lachlan Sampson. Said I thought Sampson may be one to look out for, but I was thinking mainly from penalty corners. But that is now 3-0 to Wasps. And you just wonder whether there is a comeback from Melville. If there is, they're going to need to do it quickly. Lachlan Sharp certainly looking to try and make sure they get a goal as quickly as possible. Sharp draws the foul from Rainey, plays on along the baseline, and Swan somehow stole that off the stick of Tim Gears. I think Melville felt that there was a stick before the ball, but their complaints were mooted, which is good to see. Gears now continuing the conversation actually with Jeremy Edwards, I think wanting a little bit of clarification. Top of the D is Brand, but he goes on the reverse and lifts it over the crossbar. But a good little spell from Melville. Tim Brand, who I believe is quite a fashionista, according to his Kookaburra teammates. There's certain brands that he's very partial to and would love to have a sponsorship deal with a clothing company. So maybe there's a surf company out there that would be happy to oblige. Into the D it goes again. It was across the face of goal, and it's Melville really having to scramble to get that clear. Good release, though, coming from Sam Gears to feed Lachlan Sharp. It's 3-on-3 for Melville now as Sharp pushes it forward to Gears. Gears will slide it across. Oh, he chipped it over the keeper and out of play. Well, that was unfortunate because it was a really good break forward, and credit, though, Sam Gears was the man who started the attack, but he just couldn't finish it off. James Richardson, though, closing down that narrow angle very quickly. Richardson, who's had very little to do in goal for Wesley today. Willis. Brand cut infield, which meant that Willis had to then go outside, and there were no real options there. Gears now comes out wide to Stewart. A deflection forward, Brand, and this space. Oh, it's a good return pass, but good defending from Robinson, preventing the ball getting to Shonken. It was a really good pass and a good run from Justin Shonken. This goes back to Wen. Nice turn coming from Kyle Potter into the circle. It goes back post, just wide from Tim Gears. Well, the captain trying to spark his team with a goal. Just getting it the wrong side of the post, though. Tim Gears, the youngest of 6 people in his family to play for Melville. So it shows that once you go there, you tend to stay there. And a miscommunication, again, out of defence from Wasps. Wen, good pass again, Potter firing it through to the top of the D, but intercepted by Cale Walsh. Just a little bit too far of Bryn de Bez, but he got it ahead of Willis, and then Willis impeding Bryn de Bez. Good work again from Potter. Wen giving Potter a really hard time there. That was some pass he was going to have to bring under control. Wen makes up for it, steals possession back for Melville, and here they come again. Now it's Shonken. Shonken taking on Carl Brown, the young pretender against the old master. Shonken cutting back, evaded the foot of Kyle Brown. Shonkin still going. Good challenge from Kale Walsh. Appeals from the bench. And the foot has been given. So finally, Melville get their first penalty corner of the match. It's taken them 42 minutes to get a penalty corner. And Justin Shonkin, as I mentioned, has been very good from penalty corners. 5 goals he scored from penalty corners so far this season for Melville. And no doubt he'll be hoping he can get a 6th here and just give them that lifeline. Making his way to the baseline to inject is Ross Hall. So Willis and Shonkin wait. They go to Matt Willis. He sweeps and he scores, so they've got a goal back. Willis with a really good response. First penalty corner for Melville, and they've turned it into a goal. Well, what a response. They just need to win maybe a few more penalty corners, and they can get something from this match. Maybe the comeback that we were told at halftime was going to happen may still happen, but brilliant run into the D, and oh dear me, just wide of the goal with it. It is mercy from Robertson. Brilliantly set up by Bryn de Bez. To be fair, Robertson had to shoot on the run. Swan intercepts that pass coming from Hyder. And the Wasps, I think he thought it was all over at 3-0. I've just been stung by that goal. And they know they're going to have to work for the remaining 25 minutes to be sure of victory. Unfortunately, it was a good steal by Frank Reynolds, but then just tipped his toe of his shoe. He's certainly got one fan down below us, because every time he touches the ball, Frank Reynolds gets a shout from a young lady. Played into the foot of Patrick Welsh. Joel Mitten to Rainey. Rainey in the shadows as they stretch over the turf across the face of goal. Well, it was so nearly mitten to mitten. And a 4th goal for Wasps. Swan now gets past Sharp. Heavy touch, takes it out of play. And it will be a 16 for Melville. Ross Hall feeds it forward. Infield it goes now. Patrick Welsh does well. Managed to pull away from Rainey. Helped down the line by Potter. Willis, the goal scorer. Well, that looked as if it hit Kyle Brown's shin pad. He's saying it was higher. I think Kyle Brown, who's a very honest player, would probably show Jeremy Edwards the exact mark, but it's not going to change the umpire's decision. So a second penalty corner to Melville. Can they turn it into a second goal? Wasps players making their way behind the net to get their protective gear. Richardson stepping out of goal. He seems to do that always at penalty corners, just wait on the penalty spot. Jeremy Edwards telling him to get behind the line. So we've got Willis at the first battery, and we've got Matthew Tate at the second. Hyder is stopping for Willis. Sharp is stopping for Tate. Goes to Willis again. Good save. Kyle Brown with his stick in front of Richardson's pad, sweeping it out of play over the side. Swan diving to gain possession. Somehow got to his feet very quickly with the ball still attached to the end of his stick. And that's gone out of play. Melville get the decision, although the Wasps fans down below don't like it at all. It's a good spell of pressure from Melville at the moment. Potter came off the stick of Rainey. It'll be a long corner. Played back. Once again, deflected into the deep. Desperate scramble inside the circle coming from Joel Mitten rather. It looks as if Wasps have survived that attack. And it gives me a chance to thank our sponsors once again. Tiger Turf, unfilled, dressed or filled. And also SPORTSLINK International, creating amazing sporting experiences. And of course, FMG and AUSDRILL. Swan, busy as ever, gets the return pass, gets a little bit of space too, goes to the baseline, looks for the foot, finds the foot, and earns his team a penalty corner. Well, Swan is really just constant motion when he's on the turf. Rarely does he stand still. So Wasps now, with their fourth penalty corner, managed to convert one. Deflection from Miles Cale, who was the injector. And it is Miles Cale making his way down to inject again. So Sampson and Pearce wait at the top of the circle. Pearce at the first battery, Sampson at the second. They go to Pearce. Wasn't a good pickup. It was a very good save, though. I think it was actually off the stick of Potter. Into the D it comes. Nobody was marking Miles Cale, and his shot, fortunately for Melville, goes wide. Just over 20 minutes left in the match. Melville, who have a lifeline thanks to that Matt Willis goal. Question is, can they find a second and really put the pressure on Wasps? Good pass, manages to pick out Tate. Tate, though, under immense pressure in the midfield. And bursting forward come Wasps through the gap. The keeper's come a long way, and tumbling over the keeper goes Joel Mitten. Rainey looking to take the free hit that was awarded just outside the circle before the collision with the keeper. Swan smashes it goalwards. It's going to go out for a long corner off the stick of Tate. Well, Swan, that looked like a golf shot on a pitch and putt. And Cale Walsh had no chance. So Matthew Tate just shakes a short touch, feeds it forward. Wesley Stewart, infield he goes, and now the chance for Patrick Welsh to release a player forward. Swan again diving in front of the Melville player to pick up possession. That's gone out over the side. Should be a Melville ball, and the whistle finally goes, and it is. Jeremy Edwards, though, wanting it taken back. Umpires both appear to be happy with that. So Tate now comes out to Stewart. Infield it goes again to Gears. Off the foot. Alex Wen, self passes. And that's given away again cheaply by Melville. And unfortunately, Frank Reynolds penalised, just as he thought he'd stolen it back for his team. Walsh plays it forward for Robinson. Robinson looking to take on Hyder. Forced to go back. Good defence from Hyder. And he just overcommits and almost allowed Robinson to, yes he has, he's allowed him to run back towards the baseline, comes back and commits the foul. Well, he was forcing Robinson away from goal and then suddenly tried to steal it, which let Robinson change direction. Beautiful sway of the hips from Kale Walsh. He's a fairly solid individual. You wouldn't think he'd have that little swerve in him, Kale Walsh, but he sure as hell did. Comes back to him again. Pearce. Well, he tried to just push that almost straight through Patrick Welsh and didn't succeed, but the free hit goes Wasps' way. Pearce takes it quickly. And that's gone harmlessly out of play. So we're at the halfway stage of the second half. 2 goals have been added since half-time. Lachlan Sampson scoring the first, a field goal for Wasps, and then Matthew Willis pulling one back for Melville from the penalty corner. Big question is, can Melville find a second? You do just feel that if they do, it will really alter this game. Wasps, though, suddenly moving the ball very well. Brynda Bez dispossessed top of the D by Alex Wendt. And a penalty corner conceded. And you just see the shoulders slump of the players in maroon. So another penalty corner for Wasps, their 5th of the match. The penalty corner stats at the moment reflecting the women's game. There were 5 won by Wasps and 2 for Melville. And that's what we're at the moment in the men's game. The sun begins to drop behind the main stand and the shadows stretch across Perth Hockey Stadium. Pearce and Robertson now wait at the top of the circle. Pearce at the first battery, Robertson at the second. Swan stops, Pearce sweeps, took a deflection off the first runner, which was Frank Reynolds. Good defensive play by him, and a bit of a laugh as well with Pearce, rather. Good to see. Alex Wendt. A short pass and almost played Tim Gears into a bit of trouble, but the foul committed on Gears, so Melville gain about 10 metres. Quarter of an hour to go. Can they find some more goals? Breaking forward, good run coming from Stewart, looking to feed that into the path. Kept in play brilliantly. Well, Richardson's made a mess of that, and the swinging shot, but he missed in the end, was Shonkin. Penalty corner has been awarded, and, well, Wasps cannot believe it. And Jeremy Edwards, I can't see him changing his mind. Certainly running behind the goal to get the gear on is Miles Kale. Well, Melville had already started retiring for the 16, and then suddenly the umpire's arms came out for a penalty corner. So injecting for Melville is Wesley Stewart. Second battery is Matthew Tate, Willis at the first. Time off just then as Richardson was adjusting his gear, took his helmet off, so looks like umpire's happy with things now. Will it be Willis or will it be Tate? It's Willis again, stopped, swept well, Richardson saves, comes back to Willis who puts it in the top corner. And Willis has a double, and Melville are very much alive in this match. Well, it was a good initial save, but the rebound came straight back to Matthew Willis, who fired it into the top corner. And there's no ball on the pitch, so we've had 2 balls most of the day, and then when we need one, there isn't one. Well, we are now, I think, in for a grandstand finish. This will test Wasps' mettle fully. 3-0 up, looking to be in total control, although, to be honest, I'm not sure that is actually true, because Melville have threatened throughout this game and have always looked likely to get a goal. And just unable to trap that one was Hyder. So Walsh and Brown going to have a lot to do as Trent Mitten collects. A good collection again by him. Mitten driving into the D on the reverse, straight into the chest of the keeper. Good save from McCorn. Mitten again, when in close attendance. Mitten takes it into the corner, takes it out of play, in fact, so Melville didn't really have to do too much defending there. Mitten, I think, was just looking at the options around him. And then just let it run out of play. DeBez wins it back. Good pass from him. Infield into the circle. Go Wasps. Trying to turn and get the shot away. He does. And what a finish that is from Paul Robertson. Absolutely brilliant. Just took a touch, swiveled, knew where the goal was, and drilled it home. And Wasps now have a 2-goal cushion once more. Well, it was all stemmed from that little ball infield. So within a minute of closing that gap, Melville have it all to do again. Still finding themselves 2 goals down. Trent Mitten, good defensive play. Took the ball away from Potter, plays on it, swept away from him. Over the side, off the stick of Ross Hall. Oh, and that was a good lead from the far side of the pitch by Robertson. Top of the deep, it's going to still run loose on just the wrong side of the post that time from Lachlan Sampson. Just for a second, it looked as if it was going to just creep in. It just went off the outside of the boards harmlessly. Just over 10 minutes left in this match. Still a chance for plenty of goals. Strong challenge, top of the deep. McDougall certainly trying to win that one for Melville. And they are going to get possession here. And the free hit is given the way of Hyder. So it crashed across the face of the goal. Wesley ringing the changes, and that was brought down just as well because Mitten was lurking behind, and Potter, good work from him. Play on is the call, and a chance for McDougall. Wasps, though, getting players behind the ball quickly. Goes back to Ross Hall again. Just a little mistrap from him. Tate is up the line. Gets the ball now. Tate with a little bit of space to accelerate. And then just the deflection off McIntyre out of play. Hall again. Drives it through the middle. Sharp almost getting a touch, and Richardson had to play that one out because it may well have just crept in. So another long corner. Umpire's not happy. It was taken from far too far wide. So Willis now, who has a pair of goals today. Willis looking for, well, I think he was looking for the foot of Walsh. He didn't manage to find it. All he could get was a long corner. And there's a little bit going on between Walsh and Lachlan Sharp. Sharp, a much smaller figure, but quite happy to go shoulder to shoulder with the bigger man. Potter. Into the foot of Rainey. Potter plays on quickly, spins one way. And Walsh was down on his knees. Hall sweeps it out into the sunshine. And that's gone all the way across the park. Out of play, not a touch from anybody. Walsh has just gone to take a breather. As Joel Mitten's ball up the side goes straight out of play. Oh, lovely ball through the legs and into the D, but unable to find a teammate from Patrick Welsh. So Brown, with a little bit of space, goes from shadow into sunlight. Pearce. And just again kicked forward off the boot of Patrick Welsh. Good width being used by Wasps. And that's again a really good turn coming from Miles Cale, and it goes out for another long corner. Just 6 minutes left, so if Melville are going to get a share of the spoils here, they're going to need to get another goal fairly quickly. Wasps just where they need it. They get one now, you would think they'd be assured of the points driven into the D. And just letting it run all the way into the back of his goal was Nick McCorn. Joel Mitten coming across, keeping it in play, feeds Murray McIntyre. McIntyre to Rainey, short little pass from Rainey, picks out Miles Cale. And Gears just shakes his head at that decision. Pearce to Brown. And that won't find anybody. Once again, just like to thank some of our sponsors. Tiger Turf, 3 different systems, unfilled, dressed and filled. Kookaburra Hockey's #1 partnership. And dankz Furniture, proudly Western Australia. They are sponsors of the live streams of the premier competition in Western Australia. And they make it possible as Swan picks up, feeds it to Rainey. Rainey was just stopped at the top of the D, but illegally by Tate, so free hit. Swan passes it back and forward into the D now, and the shot goes the wrong side of the goal this time from Trent Mitten. Pearce brings it down again, centre field. It's going to run over the side. Is there a goal for Melville now? Brand. Tim Brand, in he goes and just poked away by Swan. Rainey. Gears. Just shrugged off by Rainey. Rainey manages to get past Tate with ease as well. Slips the ball to Brynda Bez. McIntyre just denied by McCorn with a really good save coming off his line. And that was a great build-up And a green card has been issued to Tim Gears. And he can't believe that. Shaking their head. Again, I tend to agree and feel that was maybe a little bit hard done by, because it looked as if he was more stumbling as he fell rather than he was deliberately trying to impede the Wasps player. But the umpire's decision is the only one that matters. Melville, 3 minutes in which to find 2 goals. You would think that's going to be a very big ask, but they need to start playing their hockey inside Wasps' half. And at the moment, Wasps are not letting them play out. Tate, though, showing good skills. Mitten, though, getting a very telling touch. And it's a free hit, so they've got a chance, but time is being eaten up as Wasps just delay. Tim Brand trying to spin, and strong challenge coming in once more from Cale Walsh, the captain. Trent Mitten now happy to just keep possession, and over the baseline it goes for a 16. Well, if you look at both fixtures in 2017, it was a Wasps win, 3-0 the first time they met, and it was 4-3 the second time. Trent Mitten getting a hat-trick, Matthew Swan with a penalty corner. Justin McDougall got 2 field goals, and Nick Tate a penalty corner for Melville. It's been close today, but at the moment it is Wasps just edging it, and that 2-goal cushion you feel is going to be more than enough now as we enter the last minute and a half. Carl Brown in space on the left-hand side. Deflection coming from Brynda Bez, but it was not able to find its mark. Bez steals it back off Matthew Tate. This time he does find Murray McIntyre, but Wen did well. But McIntyre steals it back, then played it into the foot of Alex Wen. And it's a free hit just outside the D. For a second, I thought Chahir Panshiri was going to give a penalty corner, but he's got the decision right. It was just outside the circle. And Wen picking up the ball and then reluctantly giving it to Swan. Swan into the circle he goes, to the baseline, on the reverse across the face of goal. I think McCorn got a touch on that one, just to deflect it away from goal. Still with Wasps, it comes in again, goes out for a long corner. We're into the final minute of this match. Is there another goal for Wasps, or are they happy with what they've got, which is going to be the 3 points for a victory? Kyle Brown put under pressure. Brown looks to switch play into the sunlight it goes, but brought down brilliantly on the far side by Joel Mitten. And it's a Wasps ball, not a Melville, as Melville were looking to break forward. Willis dribbles the ball back and gives it to Joel Mitten. Deflects up and out of play, and that will be the final play of the match, you feel. Handshakes all around. Well, Melville, they made a fight of it, but in the end, it was Robertson's goal that really took the sting out of the match and made sure that Wasps were victorious. At half-time, it was 2-0 to Wasps. Cale Miles with the first goal and Murray McIntyre with the second. And then Sampson got one just after the break, a brilliantly struck field goal from the top of the circle. And then Matthew Willis pulled 2 goals back for Melville from penalty corners. But in the end, it was the goal scored by Paul Robertson that sealed the game in the 68th minute, which resulted in a final score of Wasps 4, Melville City 2.